Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report for the 2nd of January 2019 and the ASX200 here on the daily chart. I have two counts here which we're going to be going over, and then we'll look at strategies to handle either direction of those. So the current count down through here, it's quite easy to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for perhaps wave A here. And then the move up here as an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, and then looking at 5 waves down here for the C wave here. So it's possible to have a low in here. So if there's a low in here, then we can look at this one here as an A wave coming back to the 5,500 as a B wave here, and then up for a C wave here. So we could possibly look at an ABC correction to here, or a possible even further impulse wave. I don't think that's the case. The other count that we're looking at here, if I go to the 4-hour chart, is this count here, which probably makes a little bit more sense, but from the top here as 1 and 2 down for 3, 4 and 5 to this point, and then an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave, and then up for the C wave for the B wave top here. That means that we would need to come straight down from here. So we do have 5 waves up here, so in that case we would end up moving through here. So what we need to watch out for here, I mean, because we were trying to count 5 waves coming down through, but they're just not coming down through here. So this particular structure, I mean, we could count from here wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 3, 4 and 5 here, but it's making this wave 3 here the shortest, so that's not going to be the case. So it's probably looking something like this here. I've had a look at all the different sectors, and when I look at all the different sectors, sometimes they can give me a lead on them, but the two counts that I've just pointed out here both show up quite nicely in different sectors, so I'm not any better off here. So one of the things here is the move up through here is in 5 waves. So this is the 50-60% retracement level here at the 5,500 area here. So that's going to make it a little bit easier, because if the 5,500 becomes a retested resistance, the market would come down, have some type of little correction across here. But if it became the retested resistance, well, then we'd be short from that point. So we just need to be mindful around this area here. The other point too is that if we make a new top here, then we need to be on the long side from that point. But let's just go in and have a little look at this in a bit more detail. So in a nutshell, we're not really going to worry too much about all of this over here. We're really just going to work with this impulse wave to this side here, either as wave C here, or up for an A wave here, or even wave 1 here. So just drilling into all of this here on the 1-hour chart here. I'll have a look at this a bit more detail. So really at the bottom here, we're looking at this as being a B wave or a C wave here. So like I mentioned, we can have a top in play here, and then we'll have to move down from that point. So in the short term, this little move down through here is likely to see the B wave come up here, which has already started to do, and then we'll have 5 waves down for a C wave here. This C wave here may not come all the way down here. Sometimes there's an equality in distance between wave A and wave C here, so we just need to allow that to play out. But what that does in that case is that, let's just look at it to the upside for a moment. We could put that up there. If the market just went straight up through there, we could go along there. If this market goes up to wave B here, we can look at that in a bit more detail in a moment, and then comes down through here, then we can also put that on top of wave B there, and any move to the upside from that point, even if it just comes down through here and moves up, then would be long above this wave B here. So that's important, and then you can look to add above here as well. So that kind of helps with the long side of things. With the short side of things, really we need the 5,500 as the retested resistance here. What you could also do as well, if you wanted to get in early on this, is then you would need to be going short below this one here. Now you may get trapped in here, so you wouldn't really put your normal order size in there. You'd only put half or a quarter in there and look to add a little bit later with that. This little trend to the upside here, if I can just bring this over onto the tick chart here, because we were tracking this to the upside here. So from the low here, this is the low here. Oopsie daisy. So you see that that's quite clearly the low here. So we need to label that wave 1, and then we've got wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, back for the fourth wave, and we've got 1 and 2 and all the way up for 3, 4 and 5 here. So we've got 5 waves here. This looks like an well, the first move down, we can call it an A wave here, and then the B wave can pull back into this space here, so the 5650 area through here, and then move down from here. One of the interesting things here though is that this move down through here as an A wave here, and this is why I've labeled it wave A here, because I can count from the top here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. So we've got 5 waves here, and then it looks like we've got some type of correction here, and then if you've got a keen eye you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then this here would be an ABC here. So you know, if this is wave 1 here, then where's wave 3 in here? So this really looks like here, if I can just copy these here, an A wave here, B wave over here, and a C, oopsie daisy, and a C wave over here. So this appears to be corrective here at this stage. So yeah, so so it makes this an A and a B wave here and a C wave coming down from this point here. I mean, it's possible that this can be the ABC and having the C wave on here, we go higher from that point. But in that case, we know that we need to go long above here. You could also go long on 72 here on 5672 as support, a tested support. But otherwise, we could look to this length here being played out, move that, wherever that top is here, then wave A here would wave A would equal wave C here. So that's why I said it doesn't really have to come down to that 5,500 area here. Anyway, all the markets are opening around the world, so for the new year. So let's see where it comes in, things come in from. The other interesting thing here, it'd be good to have a look at the US video when I make that as well, because the current top here in the US is a top that we've been looking for and expecting further downside to come from that. But I still need evidence for that on the downside to occur as well, because we've got 3 waves up on the S&P 500 to its target rally around the 2500 area. Okay, let's move along a little bit, and let's start with China here. I'm not going to go into China in a big detail because there's going to be support at this 10,000 area here. So one thing I'm not sure of is because of the little gap in here. I still got to figure it out. I just haven't had time. I don't know if we've got green wave 4 here or blue wave 4 here. If it's blue wave 4 here, then from the top here, roughly, to the current low there, the 38.2% comes in at 10,600 roughly, so that's just up here. So we may see a push up higher here, but even if we see a push down lower here, I'm not really interested in trading it lower because I know that we're going to get a strong bounce off here. So we're in choppy environment here, so I'm not really going to get involved in any trades here. This all needs to play out here further. And the Nikkei here is very much this sort of current rally here. Obviously, it's hit this ceiling here at 20,000. So if this market moves any higher than it has, then we need to be on the long side here. So if I can just copy that here, any new highs above here, we can look to go long. Otherwise, we would expect it to move, continue its trend lower from here and break away. So in that case here too, we can also look to be short from this here as well. I'm just going to move through these reasonably quickly, and India. So we don't have a lot of interest. I don't get a lot of emails regarding China or Japan, but for the Nifty, there's a bit of interest. So I'll spend a bit more time on the Nifty and the Australian markets rather than the other ones this year. But if you're trading the Nikkei or China, let me know. But otherwise, I'll just keep a general check on them. With this market here, I mean, we've got wave 3 here. It would be nice to be able to put wave 4 here and have wave 5 here. But the problem with that is that I don't have a very nice 5-wave structure up here. It counts better as 3 waves up here. Okay, so, but I'm open-minded, and I know other folks have got this as wave 4 here and wave 5 here, and I've got a top in play. And then in that case, we can look at this move down here as wave 1 and an ABC back for wave 2 here in here. And then we've also got wave 1 here back for wave 2, and we'll go down quite strongly from here. So that's really on the cards there. Either way, the other count for this is that we've got a triangle pattern in play here, and we've got wave D here, and we'll come down for wave E in here. So if we break, you know, if this area here, the 10,400, becomes the retested resistance here, then we know that this wave 2 is correct, and we'll be looking to go down much further, and we can play for that. We also want to have a play within here as well. The move up through here in this particular instant here, all of this here appears to be corrective in here. So it does appear that we've got a corrective rally. We have moved back to our target area, let's just say 11,000 here, and all in all, we should move lower from here. But at the same time, if we're going to make new highs, we also want to be long as well. So in this case here, let's just move in and view all of this. So the move to the upside here from this low, I've got this as an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C here. I know that this can be counted differently as well, but it still doesn't make any difference because we still end up with wave C here as wave 2 or wave D here. Okay, so this move down through here, I'd like to call it wave 1 and back for wave 2 here, and then moving down lower here. There is a bit of I can't get my head around this particular top here. Yeah, because yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, it's giving me a bit of problems, this top here. So let's just focus on strategy within here. So we know that the 50-60% retracement level is here. We know that we're getting a lot of resistance here. So if we were going to go long, we would only go long if we got a nice support on 11,000 here. Okay, so getting support on 11,000 here would still get the arrival, which we got now. We'll get the reaction here, and that's normally in 3 waves. And then the market would still have to move up here. So I wouldn't chase this up here because I know that 95% of the time, roughly speaking, would come back here again and check the demand here for the support. Then we would have our long trades from these points here, and possibly even lower from here as well. But this is the way that we would approach this particular number here. So we're not there yet. We're a long way from that. So it would be more advantageous to us to try and understand if wave 2 is in here, then we'll be going down strongly here. So we're under this current number, so we need to be on the right side of the market, and being on the right side of the market means being on the right side of the closest largest number. So in this case, we've got an Elliott count that can take us lower here, so we need to focus in on that situation. So a couple of things here. We don't need to worry about the upside now. The move here can be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. Once again, this little low area here, it looks like this is the low here. But this is what also bothers me. These two tops are basically the same. So I don't know if this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down to this point, or we need to call this in for the top here. Because if I call that in for top, I can see from this correction, we've got 5 waves up here as 1 and 2 here, and then we've got the 3rd wave up here. So I don't know if we call this the 4th and then the 5th wave here, because obviously it overlaps this situation here. So I don't know which way to call this here. That's my problem with this here. So it'll resolve itself once I know where we are with this, where we are with this structure here. So from this low here to this high here, this is the 50-60% retracement level. So it comes in, this is group 2 here. So 65, 72 and 80 here make up group 2. While the market is supported by this here, the 11,000 here, in terms of it having a correction around these levels here, then group 1 above here, 1, 2 and 3, and then group 2 below here. If these become the retested resistance, it's okay for the market to pop up here and come back and still be involved here. If it finds support on this level here, then it's a different story. Then it's free to go to the upside from that point. And that's the same here as well. If it retested these guys here and continued down, then it's leaving this number here. But in the meantime, where we are now is that this market is vibrating at the 11,000, and this is the space that I allow at group 1 and group 2. If they become the resistance here or the support here, then I know that the market is leaving this number and the next trend is beginning. So all we're doing now is splitting hairs, trying to get in a little bit earlier. So in this case, we know that the 61.8% is close to the 720 here, the 72. So if that becomes the retested resistance, we can go short from that point. Okay, that's where I'll have to leave it. If you want to get in early and have a go, well then if this is breached here, then you can also go in at this point as well. But you would need to put a smaller position in here. So I'll just turn that down, turn that colouring down a little bit at that point. So that's kind of where we are with this. I don't think that I don't think anything on the tick chart can really help us here. Let me just... Yeah, so I've been through all of this here. If we call this the top here, then I've got 1 and 2, and I've got 5 waves here, and then 4 and 1 and 2, and this finishing here as well. So, and this here is an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. It's pulled up higher than the 61.8%. And then we've got this spike here as well, which I don't particularly sort of, I mean, it's there, it's happened, it's real, but, you know, it could be just the market maker just, you know, stopping people out, so to speak, you know. Yeah, it makes it difficult to count it, that's all. So one of the other things here too, though, is that, you know, if we do take the top here to here, that's the 50-60% retracement level there. Let's just put this in here. I don't need to do another stock on this video, so that's okay. So that's one space. The other space, which I'd like to take from here, brings it down into this space here. So not that it matters a lot at this particular stage, but just nice to have a look at both of them here. But even as a corrective rally, that's still not looks like more impulsive than corrective. But you can see here that any move really above these here, this is the 900. So normally, as we just talked about the 11,000, we can also talk about this as well. We could say, well, the 900 is the closest largest number, isn't it? So then group one above that would be 1, 2, and 3, which is 10, 20, and 30 in this case. So if the 30 becomes the support, you could actually go long from that point, which is obviously the top here anyway, so that's not that helpful. This top. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so you can go long on the 1030 here if that's going to be the case. Okay. All right, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in and have a beautiful 2019. Cheers.